The road for the defending Liberty League champions begins here in search of back-to-back titles for their first time in program history. The Ithaca College Bombers host the number 7 seed Vassar College Brewers here in the quarterfinals of the Liberty League playoffs. Hello everyone and welcome inside the Higgins Stadium's press box. I'm Alex Triprud alongside me, Mia Valencia. Mia, how are you feeling today? The start of Liberty League playoffs has finally arrived.
You know, Alex, I'm really excited for this game. You know, both teams are coming off. They got a lot of fire under each of them, with Ithaca coming off of a 19-11 win against Skidmore and coming off of a loss against Vassar earlier in the season. They're ready to bring it today, and Vassar coming off a loss against William Smith, but then coming off of a win against Ithaca on the road at their home turf, looking to make that 2 in a row against Ithaca.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how the revenge kind of mentality plays into it for Ithaca. The last time these two teams played, it was on the road at Vassar, a 12-11 victory for Vassar. Scored in the last couple minutes was the last goal in that one. However, when you look at the historical matchups between these two teams, Ithaca holds the advantage significantly. Ithaca 9-4 all-time against Vassar. Ithaca is 6-0 at home against the Brewers. Not to mention, the last time Vassar made it to the semifinals, which is what they would make if they were to beat Ithaca today, they played the Ithaca College Bombers back in 2023. They lost that one 21-13 in 2023. So a little bit of an interesting storyline. If Vassar were to beat this Ithaca team, it would be the first time that they would have played Ithaca in the Liberty League tournament since they lost in the semifinals since 2023. But a lot of storylines going on. Obviously, single elimination, winner go home, and obviously both of these teams looking at what's happening across the Liberty League in terms of other games going on. The winner of this game will either play or host, depending on who wins, in the semifinal, the winner of RIT St. Lawrence. Currently, that game is in the third quarter, 4:48 left to go. Both teams tied 8-8 RIT in St. Lawrence, so you'll have to wait and see the winner of that one. But right now we are about to get started here on the South Hill. It looks like Juliana Esposito will be the one to start the day, draw controlling for the Bombers, and Catherine Peacock, top 10 in the Liberty League in draw controls for the Brewers. Ithaca in their white home uniforms with the blue lettering across the logo. Vassar in their road maroon uniforms with the white lettering across their uniforms. Ithaca will be going from left to right. Vassar from right to left to start this one, as the referees are getting it set up here between Esposito and Peacock. It will also be Kellish and DiLiberto on the outside, with Cody and Poirier. Referees setting the ball up in the sticks as the Liberty League playoffs are just about to begin. Ref steps away, ball's up in the air. Running for it is Kellish and DiLiberto. Still a scrum for it, trying to pick it up are the Brewers, and they do come away with it. That's Billings who has it for Vassar, as now she'll move it up to one of her teammates in Burgess. Burgess being quickly double-teamed, and there's going to be a quick foul called against Ithaca, and Burgess will keep it for the Brewers. Burgess now feeds it over to one of her teammates in Poirier. Poirier working her way behind far side, now across the field up towards one of her teammates. Shot, score! It's Sienna Wong who gets the first blood here on the South Hill. Vassar takes an early 1-0 lead, 14:31 left to go in the first quarter.
And that's exactly what the Vassar Brewers want as they come into this game. You know, they win the quick draw control and they march right down and they score, keeping the energy high right in the beginning.
That was a little bit of a fluky pass there. It was almost just, it looked like it skied up in the air there, Mia, and then fell into the stick of Sienna Wong, and she took advantage, and she was right in front of the crease when she took that shot. Absolutely.
It's very quick on their feet and getting ready to go.
So now we'll bring it back to the draw circle. Vassar, 29 seconds into the game, already drawing first blood. It'll be back to Esposito and Peacock in the circle. Referee setting the ball up. Still waiting for the referee. She'll now step away. Ball is up in the air. Going for it is Cody, but the Vassar Brewers once again come away with it. It was Billings who had it for a moment, but it got knocked out of her stick quickly, taken away by the Bombers. It's Phoebe Hosford now who has it, driving across the Ithaca logo at midfield, moving across the restraining line into the offensive zone for Ithaca. Hosford will flip it over to her teammate, Elizabeth Green. Green now has it, working near side, goes behind the net to Armstrong. Armstrong working away near side to far side behind the net, guarded closely by Del Tato of the Brewers. Now all the way back up top to Elizabeth Green. Green driving into the 12-meter fan, cuts now towards the near side into the 8-meter almost before getting pushed back. Now over to Jerry, far side Cody. Cody now working her way towards the top of the 12, driving in, trying to do a spin move into the 8-meter fan, driving in, takes a shot, score! Lily Cody, a diving effort, makes it 1-1, and the scoreboard evens up. 13:43 left to go in the first quarter.
Wow, and you can see both teams are really coming out with a lot of fire today. They both want this win, and they will stop at nothing. Really great passing from the Bombers inside that 12-meter, and they were able to connect on it with a beautiful goal by Cody.
And Cody, what an effort there. Getting shoved to the ground as she was releasing that shot, but still able to get it off. We saw her on Saturday against Skidmore, able to get a pass as she was falling away to her teammate Kelly Jerry, who was then able to fire it in for a goal. Cody able to finish that one herself. Her 45th goal on the year, top 10 in the Liberty League in goals. Now we'll bring it back to the draw circle once again. Quick scoring in this one already. Less than a minute and a half gone. Already 2 goals up on the board. Esposito and Peacock back in the circle. The referee still setting things up. Now ball's up in the air. Fighting for it is Esposito. It gets knocked around all the way to the restraining line. Elizabeth Green able to pick it up for the Bombers. Their second draw control win already as Green streaking into the 12-meter fan. Far side gets pushed back. Now back up top to Cody. Cody now hesitates at the top of the circle. Isolation play. Driving near side. Trying to get a shot off. She'll opt to pass it down low to Armstrong. Armstrong behind the net. Working her way far side. Will go now far side Green. Now up top of Jerry. Jerry working her way inside the 12-meter fan, cuts towards the near side, takes a shot, score! A beautiful rocket from Kelly Jerry gives the lead to Ithaca. They've now reached 2-1, 13:08 left to go in the first quarter.
And you know, Ithaca loves those isolation plays, and it didn't quite work for Cody. She passed back to Armstrong, but they were able to still stick with it and connect with it and stay strong in that fan and get the goal.
It was a great setup play, as you were talking about, Mia, there. They went to it twice. First with Cody, she got pushed back, and so then they went around the horn again to a Jerry, and she was able to get it to go. And a Jerry, so much power on that shot, able to power it past McMullen. So now Ithaca, their first lead of this contest, 2-1. Just under 2 minutes played. Esposito and Peacock back in the circle. Referee still setting it up. Referee still working on it, and now they'll both stand up. So referee's resetting the ball in between their sticks. She'll back away, ball is up in the air, quickly almost caught there by Peacock, and now Billings comes away with it once again for the Brewers. Now it's over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy back to Billings, takes a shot quickly, saved there by DeTillo on the deflection. Able to be stayed possession with the Brewers as Poirier tried to pass it up top. Almost lost it was, Mulcahy for a second, but she's able to get it back to one of her teammates. Now it's over to DiLiberto. Back over to Mulcahy as there's going to be a stoppage here. The referees was talking to the athletics truck. And so now they're coming over to conference real quick. Don't quite know what the stoppage here, but the referees wanted to talk things over. Now both referees are walking over to the athletics truck on the other side. Could be a timing issue. Potentially either on the scoreboard or on... Oh, I see the issue. Or I thought I saw the issue potentially was that maybe the shot clocks weren't reset, because now it's back up to 83. The shot clocks originally read 47, so I think the shot clocks didn't reset when Vassar got the possession off the draw, and I think that was the issue. So now the shot clocks have been reset back up to 83 seconds, and it'll be back over to Billings, who has it currently for the Brewers as play restarted. Now it's across to Mulcahy. Far side, DiLiberto. Down low working against Maggie Mandel. Now back up top to Mulcahy. Mulcahy working against Elizabeth Green, top of the 12, driving inside the 8-meter fan, cuts near side, takes a shot saved there by Datillo, potentially off the post, and Puppo able to cover up the ground ball and get it back to Datillo.
That was really good man-to-man defense from this seasoned Ithaca defense, and they were able to come away with it and stop the goal.
Maggie Mandel now goes back to Datillo, and now she'll go near side, swinging it over to Phoebe Hosford. 12 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Ithaca currently leading 2-1. Puppo now swings it over to the middle to Lily Cody as she'll cross the restraining line into the offensive zone. Cody driving in, full head of steam, pass over to Green in the 8-meter fan, takes a shot, score! Elizabeth Green on a beautiful top shelf shot, makes the lead 3-1 now. Ithaca, 11:48 left to go in the first quarter.
And beautiful passing from the Bombers. They're really able to connect inside that 12-meter and really work around the great Vassar defense as they're putting up a fight, and the Bombers are really able to connect and really able to come away with it.
The passing and the chemistry has been there for the Ithaca offense to start this game. And just a quick recap as to how we got to 3-1 quickly, as there's only been about 3:12 left, or 3:12 taken off the first quarter. Vassar quick strike with 29 seconds taken off the clock to get the first goal. Ithaca responded with 2 back-to-back goals, and now they've made it 3-1 with that last goal from Elizabeth Green. And so now it'll be back to the draw circle. Juliana Esposito and Catherine Peacock. So far in the draw controls, both teams tied at 2 draw controls apiece. Referee still setting things up. Ball's up in the air. Peacock going for it. Had it for a moment. Got it knocked out of her stick. Able to recover it. So that'll be a win for Vassar. As now she'll get it back to one of her teammates in Lawless. Lawless now streaking across the Ithaca logo at midfield. Guarded closely by a couple of Bombers defenders. And there's a takeaway. Kelly Ajeri able to swipe it out of the stick of Lawless. And now she's streaking into the offensive zone past the restraining line. And Jerry now waits for her teammates to come and join her, and she'll flip it over to Lily Cody. Cody, top of the 12. Working her way, trying to make a move. She'll pass it now near side to Elizabeth Green. Green now driving inside the 12, trying to work her way inside the 8. Will go behind the net to Armstrong. Armstrong, far side. Trying to work her way in. Will go up top to Cody. 57 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Now near side, Kellish. Kellish driving inside the 12, trying to drive inside the 8, but gets pushed back. Kellish now back down low over to Natural. Natural now back across to Armstrong. Armstrong will feed inside to Green. Missed the pass for a second. It'll roll past the restraining line. Mandel able to pick it up for the Bombers, but there's going to be an offsides call as Mandel came across the restraining line. Lily Cody tried to jump back on side across it, but not quite in time.
That was really strong defense from the Vassar Brewers as they were able to stop the Bombers from penetrating that net.
And now it'll be to Di Libertio, driving all the way into the 8-meter fan before she gets pushed back. Now near side over to Poirier. Poirier guarded closely by Hosford. Now it's back up top to Di Liberto. As it'll be across now, back up top to Billings. Billings, top of the 12, driving inside, gets double teamed and pushed back, shoved to the ground. There's going to be a call, a hit up high against Maggie Mandel. And we'll see where they give this to Billings. Looks like they will give her the indirect. So no free position shots yet for either side. Billings now will pass it over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy goes down low over to Wong. Wong behind the net now over to Di Liberto. Or no, excuse me, that's Poirier. Now back up top to Billings, who gets quick check there by Krellin. Foul called against her. Billings will have another restart outside the 12-meter fan. Quickly into Mulcahy, that was Burgess who took the shot. It was wide. Still possession to the Brewers. 29 seconds on their shot clock. Driving in is Di Liberto. Now back over to Burgess. Across top of the 12 to Mulcahy. Mulcahy trying to drive inside. Feeds over to Burgess. Takes a shot. Score! Elizabeth Burgess answers the 3-goal run of the Bombers with a goal of their own. It's now 3-2, 9:05 left to go in the first quarter.
That was a lot of determination from that Brewers offense. The Bombers were trying to stop them. They were keeping them outside of that fan. but the Brewers kept with it. They were able to connect on their passes and really get in there to close the lead a little bit.
And that was an extended offensive period for the Brewers, and they really took advantage of it, as you said, Mia. Able to have good ball movement all the way around the fan and behind the net, and then able to set that one up to Burgess. Burgess, that's her 27th goal on the season. And so now we'll bring it back to the circle. Scoreboard reads Ithaca 3, Vassar 2, 9:05 left to go in the first quarter. Peacock and Esposito back in the circle. Referee backs away, ball's up in the air. Going for it is Billings of the Brewers, and she's able to win another one for Vassar. So now she'll get it over to Poirier. Poirier has it for Vassar. She'll go down low near side to Burgess. Burgess goes behind the net to Wong. Wong goes back near side to Poirier. Now back up top, DiLiberto. Now over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy driving inside the 8-meter fan, trying to get a shot off. She will get a shot up. It'll go wide. Datillo tried to be the first one to it, but Burgess wins that race, and Vassar will retain possession. Wong now has it near side. Wong back up top to Billings. Now across to DiLiberto. Far side now, Mulcahy. Far side now over to Poirier. Poirier loses it a second against Caitlin Russell, but there's going to be a foul called against Russell, and Vassar will keep possession. Quick start foul, as it'll now be over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy working it back inside it to Poirier. Takes a shot, score! A beautiful pick and roll play from the Vassar Brewers allows Poirier to get the goal and tie the game up now 3-3, 7:59 left to go in the first quarter.
And you know, once again, that Brewers offense really able to connect on those passes, and there was just a clear runway for that goal to tie it up.
And it was almost like a little pick and roll type option play there from basketball, as it was Poirier who flipped it over to Mulcahy, and then Mulcahy was able to flip it back over to Poirier, who was then able to cut inside against her defender, and that was a really smart play there between those two, able to set that one up to allow Poirier to get a good opportunity one-on-one against Datillo. Now back to the draw circle once again, Esposito and Peacock. Waiting for the referee to set things up. Ball's up in the air. Going for it is Cody. It bounces off of her shoe for a moment. There's going to be a whistle blown. They're going to award it to Ithaca. So Ithaca will get a much-needed draw control win, and they will be allowed their offense to potentially have their first shot in a couple minutes. Now it'll be Russell fed up top to Natural. Natural driving all the way across the restraining line into the offensive zone for Ithaca. Natural feeds behind the net to Armstrong, near side to Green. Green now driving around in the 8-meter fan, trying to get a shot off. She gets hit up high and goes to the ground. And so she will have the first free position shot of this game coming up. Green, 34 goals on the season already. Trying to make it number 35 here. Ithaca, the last time they played Vassar on the road, they went 1 for 6 on free position shots in that game. They want to look to reverse things here in this first round matchup. Green in a driving stance. Waiting for the referee's whistle. She drives inside, fakes, Dukes, shoots, and scores. Elizabeth Green with a beautiful move regains the lead for Ithaca. It's now 4-3 Bombers. 7:21 left to go in the first quarter.
And as you were saying, Alex, those free position shots didn't really go the way they wanted to on the road, and now they're really looking to pick that back up and reverse that here at home. And so far, they have done that.
1 for 1 on the day are the Ithaca College Bombers, and that's a good start for them, as you were just saying, Mia. And another thing that's going well for the Bombers right now is the number of turnovers in this game, actually. It's been remarkable. Almost halfway through one quarter, there have only been 2 turnovers committed combined from both squads. Each team has only 1 turnover. And so it's been very clean, very quick, very efficient lacrosse, Mia. And that's what you really want out of a playoff game, is these quick strike offenses and very just clean, efficient play, and just seeing what team really matches up better against each other.
Absolutely.
Backing it into the draw circle with Esposito and Peacock. Referee setting it up. Backing away now, ball's up in the air. Going for it is Kellish, but it is DiLiberto of the Vassar Brewers able to get inside and win the draw control. Now she's into the 8-meter fan. Pass over to Wong. Takes a shot saved there by Datillo. No, it goes in. Just trickles across the line. Sienna Wong able to make it work for Vassar. And now once again they tie it back up. 4-4. 7:10 left to go in the first quarter.
As you were saying, Alex, there's a lot of fire coming in from both of these teams. Really quick passes, quick runs up the field, and it's coming down to those draw controls as we've talked about before, where as soon as they get one and they march down the field and they're able to score, and that's exactly what happened there.
And it looked like on that one specifically that it looked like Datillo probably stopped the majority of it, and I think it just trickled across the goal line past her. So a little bit of an unlucky break there for the Bombers, but now they're going to look to respond. Currently, Vassar leads in the draw control category 5-3. Esposito, Cody, and Kellish looking to change that here on this one. Referee still setting things up. Ball's up in the air. There's going to be a whistle and a violation called against the Bombers, and so Vassar wins another draw control. As it'll be Peacock bringing it into the offensive zone for Vassar, guarded closely by Krellin. Now Peacock goes back up to Poirier. Poirier across to Billings. Billings now near side over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy now looking for a pass at the top of the 12. Goes far side over to Fredland. Fredland down low to Burgess. Across behind the net now to Poirier. Poirier still far side. Works to back up top. Across now to Mulcahy. Mulcahy working against Elizabeth Green. Trying to drive inside the 12-meter fan into the 8-meter fan. Takes a shot and scores, but there's going to be a charge called against Mulcahy as she ran over one of the Ithaca Bomber defenders, and so Ithaca will take over.
An unlucky situation for the Brewers as they were looking to extend their lead and take the lead back from the Bombers, but it didn't go their way as Ithaca takes it the other way.
And so now streaking up into the offensive zone is Caitlin Russell of the Bombers as she'll pass it over to Sydney Smith, who has it near side. Smith now will go up top to Cody. Cody now trying to work her way inside the 8-meter fan, spins around, takes a shot, score! Lily Cody on a beautiful shot, gets the lead back for Ithaca. They now lead at 5-4, 5:42 left to go in the first quarter.
And that was good work by Cody, capitalizing on that charge with the no goal from the Brewers and being able to march down the field really quickly, connect on a few passes, and score for the lead.
And so now Ithaca takes the lead back. A very back-and-forth match so far. Ithaca, and actually the largest lead of the game for either side has been 2 goals when Ithaca led it 3-1 in this one. So far since that time, it's been back and forth, little 1-goal runs apiece so far. 5:42 left to go in this first quarter. Back to Esposito and Peacock in the draw circle. Referee setting them up. Ball's up in the air. Kellish almost had it in her stick for a second. It's now rolling towards the far restraining line. It gets knocked aside by a Vassar Brewer, and now DiLiberto's running for it. And it'll go across the end line, and they are going to award it. They're going to award it to the Brewers, actually. It looked like one of the Brewers' sticks was the one that knocked it out, but they're going to award it the other way. However, Olivia Puppo able to intercept the pass and get it back for Ithaca. Puppo now goes all the way back to Datillo. Datillo now across near side to Hosford. Now it'll be back up top to Mandel. Mandel now in the neutral zone, losing it for a moment, able to recover it. And now it'll go out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover against the Bombers. Vassar will take over. It's a cross to Mulcahy, who just crossed the restraining line into the offensive zone for Vassar. That'll be down to Burgess, who loses it out of her stick for a moment, able to pick it back up in the far corner. Now back up top to Fredlin. Across now over to Billings, top of the 12. Now near side, DiLiberto. Down low over to Wong. Back to DiLiberto. 64 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar. Across far side to Mulcahy. Back to the top of the 12, Billings. Vassar taking their time. Mulcahy looking to make a move against Sydney Smith. Now gets double teamed and gets pushed back, and it gets knocked out of her stick for a moment. It rolls across the restraining line, able to be picked up by Lawless. So Vassar still with possession, but their shot clock is winding down, almost 40 seconds on it, and now it is intercepted by the Bombers. It's Kelly Ajeri coming away with it for Ithaca. She's going to streak across the restraining line into the offensive zone. She tried to get a pass across to one of her teammates, gets deflected, and now Lawless running for it for the Brewers, and Ajeri fighting for it. Lawless goes to the ground. A foul called against. It will be against the Brewers, it looks like. Or no, they are going to call it against Ajeri. Referee had a little bit of a mixing signs there, but it will go back towards Vassar. And now there's going to be another horn stoppage here, and it looks like there's going to be a timeout called. So timeout on the field. And so Judy Finnerty wants to take things over here for her team in an interesting position, only down 1 goal, 3:26 left to go in this first quarter. Mia, what do you think she's telling her team right now?
You know, they did. I think that they kind of slowed things down away over on the other side when they had the ball, kind of passing around the fan, taking their time, and then it caused a couple of turnovers, and there were a couple back and forth situations between them. And so maybe just tell them to slow down, think critically, connect on those passes, and make smart plays is what I would guess.
And speaking of turnovers, there have been a few more committed in the last couple of minutes. With about 7 minutes left to go in this first quarter, there were only 2 combined turnovers. Now there are 7 combined turnovers. So the turnovers are starting to rack up a little bit towards the end of this first quarter. Vassar currently has more than Ithaca right now. They have 4. Ithaca only has 3. But then also specifically when looking at Ithaca, what do you think Carrie Moore is telling her team right now?
You know, I think that there's a lot of different things. I think they're connecting well on the offense. You know, there's a lot of fire on that defense as well, stopping the Brewers from making any penetration inside the fan, and you know, staying smart inside that defense and staying away from those fouls and inside the fan and keeping it away and regaining possession.
And speaking of those fouls, you're absolutely right in terms of this being a clean game. Yeah, there's only been 1 free position shot awarded so far. That was to Elizabeth Green. She scored a goal on that free position shot. I think a 1-for-1 so far. Vassar has not had a single one, so this is like a defense playing incredibly clean lacrosse, not allowing any fouls in the 8-meter fan to give Vassar any free opportunities from the 8-meter fan, but also just overall in general. This is what you come to expect a little bit in playoff lacrosse. A lot tighter, a lot less fouls, a lot cleaner, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Absolutely. Both teams are being very smart, with the exception of that 1 free position shot, really trying to not let up any quote-unquote easy goals or situations where they can make mistakes. They're being very smart, especially inside that fan, to not allow for that. And
taking a look around the Liberty League, I don't know if the live stats is bugged up in Rochester, but currently it still shows that the game is tied 8-8 with 4:48 left to go. So I don't know if it's just my computer or not, but currently right now that's what the scoreboard reads, at least on the live stats from the Liberty League website. That might be different because it's been a little bit since it's been updated, but obviously both of these teams very invested in what happens in that game, considering the winner of this game plays the winner of that game between RIT and St. Lawrence. And now it'll be Vassar who will restart with position. It'll be DiLiberto who has it for the Brewers, as she will take it in her own end, guarded closely by the Bombers. Now she crosses into the neutral zone, guarded by several Ithaca Bombers, trying to knock it out of her stick. There's going to be a foul called against the Bombers. And so DiLiberto will get a restart here. And now she'll pass it back to one of her teammates. And now across over to Ringler. Ringler now works it up to Billings. Billings able to cross the restraining line into the offensive end. Goes down low over to Poirier. Poirier now across to Fredland. Fredland working her way near side, guarded by Caitlin Russell. Will go back up top to Wong. 2:42 left to go in this first quarter. Back across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy back up top to Wong. Wong working her working against Olivia Puppo. She'll go now down low inside to Mulcahy. Now she has to back out over to Billings. Billings top of the 12 feet inside to D. Liberto. Takes a shot saved there by Datillo. And Ithaca will take over.
That was really strong defense from the Bombers as they were able to keep everyone away from that net and keep any shots, and great save by Datillo stopping it.
And now it'll be Hosford as it in the neutral zone for the Bombers. Back across to Mandel. Mandel now goes far side to Green. Green working her way across the Ithaca logo at midfield. Now she'll pass it across the restraining line into the offensive zone to Sydney Smith. Smith working her way near side into the 12-meter fan, and now we'll go behind the net to Armstrong. Armstrong looking for a pass. She'll work her way back near side and gets knocked out of her stick for a moment. It'll roll into the crease of McMullen, and Vassar will take over. So McMullen all the way out of her crease, slowly walking up as the Bombers are going into their full court press set, where they're trying to guard every Vassar player man-to-man right now. McMullen still looking for a pass, standing right at the edge of the 12-meter fan. Now she might look like she might be going for a long pass, and she will pass it eventually over to Wong, as she will work her way into the neutral zone, guarded closely by Russell. Double team quickly comes from a Jerry, having trouble to get rid of it, and now it's over to Lawless for a moment, who lost it, and now it's over to Deltado. Deltado will feed it up to Di Liberto. Di Liberto able to bring it into the offensive zone for the Brewers, as there's going to be a pass. Tried to get it to Billings in the 8-meter fan right in front of the crease. Still a scrum for it. Datillo able to smother it up, and Ithaca will gain possession. 45 seconds on the game clock in the first quarter.
That was really good defense all across the field from the Bombers, making it really difficult for McMullen, to find a pass, and they were able to capitalize on that.
Elizabeth Greenstreet into the offensive zone. Bombers are going to have to hurry. 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Inside to Natural. Now over far side to Armstrong. Armstrong trying to work her way inside the 8-meter fan. Will go back up top to a Jerry. 20 seconds left on the game clock. Jerry now working her way inside the 12, trying to go near side in an isolation set. Now she'll go behind the net to Armstrong. 10 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Armstrong behind the net looking for a pass, trying to get something off. 5 seconds left to go. And the Bombers look like they will just run this one out. Natural will feign a shot towards McMullen as the horn will go in the first quarter will end. Ithaca takes an early lead in this one. They lead 5-4 at the end of the first quarter. We'll be right back for the start of the second quarter in just a few moments. Welcome back to the first round of the Liberty League playoffs between the Ithaca College Bombers and the Vassar Brewers. We're about to start the second quarter here on the South Hill as Ithaca currently leads 5-4 over Vassar. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Chipper alongside me, Mia Valencia. And Mia, what were your quick takeaways from the first quarter?
You know, as we were saying, Alex, at the beginning of the game, we knew that both teams were going to come out with a lot of fire. There's a lot of history between this matchup right now, and both teams are looking to advance to the next round with their in this tournament. And there's a lot going on, the very quick gameplay and some quick shots that are coming off, and it's keeping that lead, keeping that game really tight.
And it's very interesting to see both of these teams been going back and forth throughout the first quarter. A lot of quick strike scoring, a lot of stoppages for a lot of fouls. Not a lot of free position shots given out. Only one given out to Ithaca so far in this game as the second quarter is about to get started. And I think just to give an update on the Rochester game, from the weather app that we've checked, there's a thunderstorm warming in Rochester, so I'm pretty sure there's a thunderstorm delay currently going on between RIT and St. Lawrence, which is why none of their stats have been updating for us so far. So currently waiting to see if they're going to come back and play the rest of that one or when they do. But to start of the second quarter, it'll be Esposito and Peacock back in the circle for the Bombers and the Brewers. Referee setting things up. Referee still working to set them up. Now she'll back away. Ball is up in the air. It was a rocket of a draw control. It goes all the way towards the restraining line, and Cody able to pick it up for the Bombers as she will enter the offensive zone for Ithaca. Ithaca now working from right to left, Vassar from left to right. As it'll be over to Green quickly towards the near side. Now over to Maddie Hall. Maddie Hall trying to work her way inside the 8-meter fan. Will go across the field to Natural. Natural driving inside the 12, trying to get inside the 8-meter fan. Gets pushed back. Will now go down low over to Hall. Hall working her way near side. Looking for a pass. She'll go back up top to Jerry. Cross to Cody, top of the 12. Back to Jerry. 55 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Jerry starting to move in. She'll now go over far side to Green, down low to Natural. Back across near side to Hall. 45 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Back up top to Cody. Ithaca looking to set things up. Cody starting to work her way in. Trying to spin around in the 8-meter fan. Gets pushed back, goes far side to Green. Green back to Cody. 30 seconds on the shot clock for the Bombers. Cody starting to drive in, takes a shot. It was a rocket over the top of the net. And Ithaca able to retain possession. 20 seconds on their shot clock. Natural has it. Near side, looking for a pass. Natural will go up top to Cody. Across to Green. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Green working her way inside the 12. Takes a shot, bounce shot, score! Elizabeth Green already a hat trick on the day, extends the Bomber lead to 2 now, makes it 6-4 on the scoreboard. 13:31 left to go in the second quarter.
That was a lot of determination from that Bombers offense. You know, they won that draw control. They marched down the field on that rocket, as you said, of a draw control right over to the restraining line. Cody was able to pick it up and stick with it and connect on those passes. And even though the defense was hot and on them the entire time, they were able to still connect on those passes, be smart, not make any mistakes that would lose them the ball, and they were able to extend their lead right to start the second quarter.
And Green, or excuse me, not a hat trick for Green, but in fact the second goal for Green on the day. I was one ahead for her. So the second goal for Elizabeth Green, but once again a bounce shot that was able to do it, and it was on an off angle to Mia, so a tough shot to field for McMullen. And he was just able to squeak through past her to get the goal for Ithaca, and that's exactly the start Ithaca wanted to see to begin this second quarter. Now we'll be back to the draw circle, Esposito and Peacock. Ball's up in the air. Going for it are both teams, and it looks like Billings able to come away with it for Vassar. Now up to DiLiberto. DiLiberto driving inside into the offensive zone, driving inside the 12-meter fan. And now she'll go all the way behind the net before she's stopped by Caitlin Russell. And now she'll go across over to Burgess. Now up top Billings, near side Mulcahy. Mulcahy now goes back up top to Fredland. Fredland across to Billings. Billings working her way against Lily Cody. Pass inside to Mulcahy. Gets deflected. Still going for it are the Bombers, but picked up by DiLiberto. And now back up top to Billings as Vassar resets. 45 seconds on the shot clock. Trying to get it inside to Wong. It gets deflected, and Maggie Mandel able to pick it up for Ithaca as they take over.
The Bombers defense really had to lock in there for a second. A lot of shots going off. Ball was kind of going everywhere, but they were able to connect with a good save and to march back up the field.
Now it's Lauren Russell bringing it across the restraining line for the Bombers into the offensive zone. Russell goes all the way behind the net before she'll pass it over to Lee Natural. Natural, far side, working against Lawless. She'll now bring it all the way up top and pass it over to Lily Cody. Cody now starting to drive inside the 12 in an isolation set, drives near side, pump fakes, takes a shot, it goes over the net, and Natural able to pick it back up for the Bombers. 45 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. And now Natural trying to drive inside the 8, passes it back out to Green. Now across to Catherine Scallon, who just checked into the game. Scallon pump fakes, tries to make a move inside, will opt to go down low to Hall. Hall trying to work her way in. She'll back out, go across to Natural. Natural back up top to Kellish, who dropped it for a second. Now drives inside to the 8-meter fan, takes a shot saved there by McMullen, and it rolls all the way outside. Ithaca able to retain possession, and they will get a shot clock reset back up to 60 seconds as Green has it for Ithaca. Now she'll go back up top to Cody, across to a Jerry. Jerry now trying to drive inside. She'll stop, go back across now to field to Green. Green working her way far side. We'll go back up top to Cody. 11 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Cody driving inside the 8-meter fan, takes a shot and it trickles in. A pump fake shot that fooled everybody as it just deflected out of Cody's sticks and ended up in the back of the net. But the Bombers will take it. That makes it 7-4 now. Ithaca, 10:57 left to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, talk about fooling everyone. It fooled me. I couldn't find the ball for a second there. But that's exactly, it happened earlier in the game against the Bombers, and now it's working in their favor with that ball trickling in over the net and extending their lead about a little bit into this second quarter.
And it was such a slow shot. And that was the thing that fooled everybody, is it was such a slow shot, because I think what happened is that it got deflected out of her stick, Cody's stick, and then it kind of just bounced in because McMullen was expecting a shot because Cody was in a shooting motion when the ball got deflected out of her stick. And so when that happened, it lost all of its velocity and just bounced by McMullen, who was not ready for such a slow shot. But the Bombers will take every break that they can get. They now have the largest lead of the game at 3 goals. It'll be back to Esposito and Peacock. Referee will step away. Ball's up in the air. Another rocket of a draw control all the way to the restraining line. Gets pushed back, and Esposito able to pick it up with it for a clean win for the Bombers. As Cody now brings it into the offensive zone. Now across to Kellish in the middle of the 8-meter fan. Takes a shot. Score! Back-to-back quick strike goals for the Bombers. Now it's 8-4 Ithaca. 10:42 left to go in the second quarter.
They're coming in hot with those draw controls. Vassar is leading in draw controls, but when the Bombers get it, they capitalize quick, and that's exactly what you just saw, and they were able to make a quick goal and extend their lead even more.
After Lily Cody scored to make it 7-4 within 20 seconds, Alexi Kellish puts it in the back of the net to make it 8-4, and Ithaca starting to make a little bit of a lead here and a little bit of a run. This is once again now the new largest lead in the game at 4 goals, currently standing at 8-4 with 10:42 left in the second quarter. Esposito back in the draw circle for the Bombers. Referee still setting it up as the first drops of rain are starting to fall here on the South Hill. It was forecasted that there were potential thunderstorms, and they're starting to come on the horizon, a little bit of dark clouds in the horizon towards our left. Now it'll be the Vassar Brewers who get the draw control win and bring it into the offensive zone. Is Burgess who currently has it, as it'll be now over to Poirier. Poirier now brings it back up to Billings. Billings across to the top to Mulcahy. Mulcahy starting to drive inside. She'll back out and look for a pass. She'll go near side to Poirier. Poirier still working against Phoebe Hosper. Will now make a move, trying to work her way inside the 12-meter fan. Will now back out and go near side to Burgess. 50 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar as it'll go back to Poirier. Great save there by Datillo on the tough shot down low. Scooped up by Lily Cody, and the Bombers will take over.
Those were quick, strong passes from the Brewers, and there was a rocket of a shot, but Datillo was able to be right there with a great save.
Now Cody bringing it back in for Ithaca into the offensive zone. 9:39 left to go in the second quarter. Green across to Scallon. Scallon working her way far side against Peacock. Will take a shot. Score! Catherine Scallon on an off-angle shot makes it count, and now Ithaca extends their lead to 5. It's 9-4.
The Bombers are really connecting on those off-angle shots. We've seen it a couple different times from a few different players, and Catherine Scallon is just the newest one in that bunch with a really, really off-angle shot, really able to capitalize on that quick turnover after that great save from Datillo.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times Bombers take advantage of those off-angle shots, and once again, I think that is something they need to stick to, and right now it's working against McMullen, whether she's not getting over there or whether she's not positioning her stick right in order to be able to stop a lot of those shots. Either way, the Bombers need to keep going back to it, because right now that far side, so McMullen's left side where her actual stick and netting is, it's working right now for Ithaca. It'll be back to Esposito in the draw circle. Referee setting it up, now backs away. Ball's up in the air, and now it'll be scooped up by Elizabeth Green for another Ithaca draw control win, and Ithaca goes right back into the offensive zone. Green now will go behind the net to Hall. Hall working her way up, trying to do a little bit of a wraparound, now pass it back over to Green. Green will go back up top to Natural. Natural driving inside the 12, driving inside the 8, now put this back, and there's going to be a stoppage here, a foul against Vassar, as it looks like Natural's going to have a free position shot here. So Natural having the second free position shot of the game, and both of them have been on Ithaca's side so far. She'll have it on the far hash of the 8-meter fan. Natural in a driving stance. Will drive inside. Pump fake, take a shot. It goes over the net. Ithaca able to keep it alive with Sydney Smith, but there's going to be a violation against Ithaca, and Vassar will take over. So now the Brewers in Del Tato trying to drive up. She slips down for a moment and will keep going towards the restraining line, trying to get into the offensive zone. She'll eventually pass over near side now to Stoff. Stoff working across the midfield logo. Now we'll go all the way across the restraining line into the offensive zone for Vassar. Stoff now passes it over to Sienna Wong. Wong now will go over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy across to Burgess, now across to Billings. Back over now to Lane. That'll be back over to Wong, back up top to Mulcahy. 50 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar. Billings trying to drive inside against Green. Now it's back over to Wong near side. Down low over to Poirier. Poirier behind the net to Fredlin, who loses it over the end line, and that'll be a turnover going Ithaca's way.
And that seasoned Bombers defense, as we have said, really able to keep them outside of penetrating into that net as they take over.
That'll be Mandel working her way up into the neutral zone for Ithaca as Russell has it. Now an errant pass goes across the inline for Ithaca. Now a turnover going Vassar's way as it'll go right back to the Brewers. That'll be Lawless picking it up for Vassar. On the far side, now it'll be over to Del Tato. Del Tato trying to drive up across the midfield logo. She'll pass it up to Ringler. Ringler now working across the restraining line. We'll go now over to Wong. Wong goes far side Mulcahy. Back to the top of the 12 in Billings. Back down to Wong. 65 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar. Back over to Billings. 7:10 left to go in the second quarter. Mulcahy looking to set up her teammates at the top of the 12. Currently guarded by Lily Cody. Mulcahy starting to drive inside. Will quick dump it off to Burgess. Pass inside to Wong. Takes a shot. It goes wide and it deflects off of Mandel's head, it looked like. Players are down. There's going to be a card against Sienna Wong, it looks like. So the first women up opportunity for the Bombers. And it will be as Wong will sit down for 2 minutes. So yellow card issued to Wong. A woman up for 2 minutes for Ithaca. As it'll be, looks like Hosford has it. And Hosford does have it in her own end. We'll pass it far side to Mandel. Mandel back over to Datillo. Datillo out of her crease, lobs one up there. Nobody there home but DiLiberto. DiLiberto able to pick it back up for Vassar across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy back across to Burgess. Burgess over to Billings, takes a shot, score! Billings able to take advantage of the miscommunication there of the Bombers and brings the lead back to 4 now. 9-5 Bombers still lead it. 6:28 left to go in the second quarter.
You know, it looks like Dattilo was looking for an option there, didn't quite find one, lobbed it up and hoped that maybe someone would be able to come over with it, and then the Brewers were able to capitalize on that and capitalize on a Bomber woman up play.
And that was the thing, a short-handed goal there for Vassar, as it just felt like that the Bombers' defense wasn't quite on the same page with Dattilo, and Dattilo tried to just get a pass out to one of her teammates towards the top, but I think it just slipped out of her stick as she was getting the pass off. Vassar will take advantage. So still a woman up for 1:35 left on the Wong yellow card. So Ithaca still a woman up to start this play as Esposito back in the draw circle. Referee still setting things up. Now ball's up in the air. And now it'll go across the restraining line into Vassar's defensive zone where it'll be picked up by Stoff. Stoff now has it for Vassar, it's Mulcahy in the neutral zone, crossing the midfield logo. Back across to Deltato. Deltato back across over up top. There's a miscommunication of a pass. It was, I believe, Fredlin who tried to feed it up top to Burgess, but Burgess wasn't ready for the pass, so Ithaca will take over on the turnover. Still a minute left to go on the Wong yellow card, so a woman up opportunity still for Ithaca here. Osford now has it for the Bombers. Osford charging through the neutral zone. She'll pass it up to Haley Armstrong, who will cross the restraining line into the offensive end. Armstrong now looking for a pass. She'll go across to Green. Green top of the 12 over to Cody. 40 seconds left on the Wong penalty. 5:30 left to go in the second quarter. Hall has it down low. Back up top to Green. Now across to Cody, top of the 12. Cody near side over to Ajeri. Ajeri rips one, takes a shot and scores. Kelly Ajeri on a rocket of a shot extends the Bombers' lead to 5 once again, makes it 10-5 Bombers. 5:20 left to go in the second quarter.
And you know, the Bombers were able to capitalize. You know, we talked about it earlier. There hadn't been a lot of turnovers at this point, but now we are up to 14 on the day between both teams, and they were able to capitalize on that woman up play with a clear, just a rip of a shot to extend the lead again.
And Jerry, and that was the consequence of that women up opportunity, because if it was even strength, there would have been a defender on Jerry, but Jerry was the one left alone because of the woman down from Vassar, and so then Jerry able to take advantage of it and kind of have herself all alone against McMullen, where a defender for Vassar kind of had to make a choice to defend the other Ithaca attacker or defend Jerry. She chose to defend the other one. Jerry able to use her powerful shot to go up top to beat McMullen. Once again, the lead back up to the largest it's been for either side at 5 goals now, 10-5. Esposito and a new draw control player in Coltsis for the Vassar Brewers in there. Ball's up in the air. Going for it is Green, and Green able to pick it up for an Ithaca Bombers draw control win. Green driving it all the way across the restraining line into the offensive end. Now it'll be back down low to Ajeri, across to Hall. Hall working it far side, will go up to Natural. Natural able to pump fake and draw a shooting space foul. And so Natural able looking to get her second, I believe, free position. Yes, it is her second free position shot of the day. Natural in a driving stance. She takes off, trying to drive inside. She'll pull out of it for a second. There's going to be a foul against Vassar, and so Natural will now have a better position on the free position shot, as she'll be at a little bit closer to center on the 8-meter fan. Natural set back up in a driving stance. She'll drive inside, pump fake, takes a shot, score! Lee Natural able to duke and dunk her way past McMillan, makes it 11-5 Bombers. 4:35 left to go in the second quarter.
And you know, that shooting space and then the second foul for the free position, putting Natural in a better position to take the shot rather than pass to a teammate, and doing what the Bombers hoped they would do with those free position shots that they weren't able to do on the road against Vassar last time they saw each other, and able to extend the lead to the most it's been now with a 6-goal lead.
You're absolutely right there, man. Up to 6 goals. Largest of the day. Ithaca, a tremendous second quarter so far. It's been a very long second quarter. There have been 5 goals scored in this second quarter, 5 goals scored in the first quarter as well. Vassar, 4 goals in the first quarter, only 1 so far in the second quarter. So Vassar's offense has fallen away here in the second. Esposito and Peacock back in the circle for Bombers and Brewers respectively. Ball's up in the air. Going for it is Cody and Billings. Billings looks like it gets knocked out of her stick. Cody, it goes across the end line, and Vassar will be awarded the draw control win. No, it'll go the other way to Ithaca, actually. Cody streaking into the offensive zone. Now she'll go across to Green. Green working her way now far side. She'll flip it over to Hall. Hall behind the net. 4:30 left to go in the second quarter. Hall near side looking for a pass. She'll go over to Jerry. Jerry goes back up top to Cody. Cody will go far side to Green. Ithaca taking their time. 60 seconds left on their shot clock. Green working her way inside the 12, trying to get inside the 8. Flips over to Jerry at the top of the 8. Now she'll back out. Working her way far side. Will now go down low to Hall. Across to Natural. Natural, 40 seconds on the shot clock. Pass inside to Kellis. Takes a shot. It gets deflected up high. No foul called. Hall will now restart play for the Bombers. Now goes over to Cody near side. 30 seconds left on their shot clock. Cody working her way inside the 12, trying to cut back into the 8-meter. Fan passes over to Green, far side, takes a shot, score! Elizabeth Green, her 4th goal of the day, extends the Bombers' lead to 7 now, 12-5 on the scoreboard, 3:35 left to go in the second quarter.
That was some beautiful passing from the Bombers. They were able to work around the net, and we saw it as soon as the play started with Cody getting that draw control. She wasted no time. We thought that it was going to the Brewers for a second, but as soon as the ref gave the call that it went the Bombers' way, she wasted no time running down that field and keeping up the pressure in that fan, able to pass around to the teammates, getting around the net, making great use of going around, and able to extend that lead even further.
And Ithaca once again starting to run away with it a little bit here in the second quarter. Still 3:35 left to go before halftime. These quarters have dragged on a little bit here in this first half. I mean, a lot of stoppages and just a lot of quick strike scoring back and forth to where a play has to be brought back to the draw circle to be restarted. And luckily, most of it has been going towards Ithaca's side in terms of scoring.
Absolutely.
Esposito and Peacock back in the circle. Referee still setting it up. Ball's up in the air. Going for it is DiLiberto, and she will come away with it for a Vassar draw control win. DiLiberto loses it for a second. It's caught up with Esposito, and Krellin able to come away with it for Ithaca. Krellin now working her way over, flips it over to Green in the neutral zone. Green crosses the restraining line into the offensive zone. Green will slow things down near side as she'll flip it behind the net to Armstrong, or excuse me, to Hall. Hall now works her way back up top to Natural. Across top of the 12, Cody. Cody working her way inside the 12, driving near side towards the 8. Pump fakes to draw the shooting space foul before she gets knocked to the turf. So a free position shot coming up for Lily Cody.
And you know, Cody loves these from these odd angles. She loves to run in and take the opportunity to score.
She will have one on the near side hash of the 8-meter fan, a little bit off of center, not quite, towards the middle of the near side. Cody, this is her first free position shot of the day. She'll drive inside, take a shot, score! 4th goal of the day for Lily Cody. A combined 8 goals between her and Elizabeth Green makes it now 13-5 Bombers. 2:56 left to go in the second quarter.
Now, the second quarter, there's been a lot of fire from the Bombers. They've been able to capitalize, really work together. The chemistry on the offense and the defense, stopping the Brewers from scoring and keeping that pressure up inside the fan. And they're capitalizing on their chemistry, making clean passes, quick, clean, and scoring and extending that lead, and that fire is going to keep them going.
And now, as I said, 8 combined goals between number 12 and number 5 for the Bombers. They've scored 4 goals apiece. In terms of other scoring breakdown, Jerry has 2, Scallon has 1, Natural has 1, and Kellish has 1, but Cody and Green have been having a day today on the offensive side for Ithaca. And now it'll be brought back to the draw control circle. between Esposito and Peacock. Ithaca having a major resurgence in draw controls in this quarter. Still, Vassar leads in the margin, but Ithaca, when they have gotten the wins, they've taken advantage of it. Peacock able to get this one, though, for the Brewers, as she'll be brought in, and there's going to be a foul immediately called against the Bombers. And we'll wait to see. There will be a green card against Lexi Kellish. And so a woman of opportunity for Vassar here for 1 minute. And now it will be Peacock who throws it into the offensive zone to Burgess. Burgess now across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy now near side Billings, back far side DiLiberto. DiLiberto working her way, will go all the way now near side corner to Poirier. Poirier goes back to DiLiberto, across to Billings. Billings now down low inside, back up top to Mulcahy, now to Billings. Back across to DiLiberto, down low to Poirier. 60 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar. Now down low over to Florence. Florence trying to take a shot inside. It goes wide. Ithaca, the first ones to it, with Datillo coming out of the crease. And Ithaca will take over.
You know, the Brewers looking to capitalize on this woman up play, but the Bombers defense was able to stick with it and adjust and stop the goals.
And now Kellish just about to come out of the penalty box as there's only 2 seconds left on her penalty. Back to even strength now. The Green has it in the offensive zone for the Bombers as Kellish now gets it coming out of the penalty box. She streaks on in into the 12-meter fan. Will go behind the net to Hall. 1:40 left to go in this second quarter. Now across near side of Natural in the 8-meter fan. Spins around. Almost pump fakes for a shot. Not able to get one off. Pass inside to Jerry. Takes a shot. Score! Kelly Jerry off the beautiful feed from Lee Natural. Makes it 14-5 Bombers. 1:28 left to go in the second quarter.
And that Brewers defense was really strong. They were doing a really good job of keeping Natural outside and stopping any option for her to score. But the Bombers offense was able to work around it really strongly with Kelly Jerry with a beautiful pass, beautiful shot, great teamwork from them.
What chemistry, and when the passing and the chemistry of this offense, it gets going for the Bombers, it's really hard to stop them. And right now, it is flowing right now for Ithaca. Less than 90 seconds left to go in this second quarter. And at this point, Vassar's begging for for halftime to come as they need to regroup, down 9 goals. Esposito and Peacock back in the circle. The referee setting them up. The referee now backs away. Ball's up in the air, and there's been a violation called against Ithaca. And so Vassar will get a draw control win. DiLiberto bringing it in to the offensive zone for Vassar. DiLiberto driving inside. Now we'll pass it over to Mulcahy. Across to Billings. Down low to Poirier. Now back over to Billings. Across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy starting to drive inside the 12-meter fan. Backs out of it. Now we'll try and go back again. Now we'll pass it across to DiLiberto. Less than a minute left to go here in this second quarter. DiLiberto trying to drive inside. Now we'll go back across over to Poirier. Poirier working our way back around behind the net. And there's going to be a violation called against the Bombers, I believe. And so they will give Poirier an indirect as she will pass it over to Florence. Florence driving her way far side will go back up top to Burgess. Now over to Billings. 45 seconds on the shot clock, 30 seconds on the game clock. And now it's Mulcahy trying to drive inside. Pass over to Billings. Takes a shot. It goes just wide of the net to the left. Florence able to pick it back up. 20 seconds left to go before halftime. Florence trying to feed it inside to Poirier. Loses it for a second. Fighting for it now. There's going to be a foul called against Ithaca. So Poirier will have a start, but only 5 seconds on the clock. She's going to have to try and feed it inside over to Burgess. Wong almost able to pick up the pass. Krellin running for it. And as the horn sounds, that'll signal halftime here between the Bombers and the Brewers. Ithaca currently leads 14-5 at halftime. We will be back in just a few minutes for the start of the the second half. You're listening to Ithaca Women's Lacrosse on the Bombers Sports YouTube page. So fans watching on the YouTube live stream right now, there has officially been a lightning delay. So at least a 30-minute delay here at the South Hill as there's been lightning spotted to the left side. So the players are going in the locker room. It's 30 minutes after the last lightning strike. We'll keep you updated here on the Bomber Sports YouTube page as updates continue to develop when the game could potentially come back. Welcome back to Higgins Stadium. It's the second half after a 30-minute lightning delay. We are back to playing women's lacrosse here on the South Hill. The third quarter just about to get underway here between the Bombers and the Brewers. Ithaca leads 14-5 coming out of halftime. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Schubert alongside me. Mia Valencia as Esposito and Peacock are back in the draw control circle for both sides. Referee still setting things up. Esposito still waiting for the ref as she'll back away now. Ball is up in the air. Kellish going for it. And it is DiLiberto able to come away with it for the Brewers. It'll be over to Billings now. Back to DiLiberto. Across to Burgess. Now down low over to Wong. Back to Burgess as Vassar moving it around the horn. 70 seconds left on their shot clock. Back to DiLiberto. Driving inside the 8-meter fan and moving, cutting through. Now flips it back over to Billings. Back up top to Poirier. Poirier working her way far side. Quickly double team. Ball knocked out of her stick on the ground. Poirier able to recover it. 50 seconds on Vassar's shot clock. Back down low across to Fredland. Back up top to Burgess. Or no, it got intercepted. Maggie Mandel able to pick it up for the Bombers. There's going to be a foul against Vassar. I think it will take over.
And you know, such a delay, you really got to be able to come back after such a long, like really extended halftime to pick up that fire that they had coming out of the first half.
Hall streaking into the offensive zone past the restraining line all the way into the 12-meter fan before she gets double teamed and knocked out. And now it'll be over to Green, who loses the pass for a second. It's rolling past the restraining line. Green able to pick it back up and bringing it back into the offensive zone for the Bombers. The Bombers, by the way, working from left to right. Brewers from right to left, as Jerry has it in the offensive zone. Now far side to Natural. Back near side now Hall. Hall, 44 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Back up top to Jerry. Jerry working her way top of the 12, drives inside the 8-meter fan, pass over to Kellish right in front, scoop shot, score! Lexi Kellish on a sidewinder behind the back, bringing out all the tricks, makes it 15-5 Bombers, 13:02 left to go in the third quarter.
See there that the Bombers did not let that delay stop them. They did not let go of their fire that they had coming out of that second quarter, coming out of that first half even, and they were able to really connect on those passes, keep up that chemistry that we've been seeing all game, and with a beautiful, beautiful shot, some pass and score to keep the lead.
And Kellish has tried that move before, not successfully in a couple games previously, finally able to get it to work. A beautiful pass right in front, and she goes behind the back in order to get that one in. Extends the lead to now running clock, 10-goal difference, the largest of the game. Ithaca up by 10, and the clock is continuing to run. Less than 12:20 now left in the third quarter. It's Peacock and Esposito back in the draw circle. Ball's up in the air. Peacock and Kellish running for it. Getting knocked around between Cody and Peacock. Peacock able to come away with it for the win for Vassar. Peacock in the offensive zone goes now over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy back down low far side to Burgess. Back to Mulcahy. Across to DiLiberto. Over to Billings now. Billings working her way inside the 8-meter fan. Takes a shot. There's going to be a whistle blown before the shot, violation against Vassar. Ithaca takes over. Caitlin Russell now streaking through the neutral zone and just crossing the midfield logo. Russell streaking all the way in. Past the restraining line into the offensive zone. Now feeds Maddie Hall far side. Now down low over to Jerry. Shooting space foul called against Vassar. Maddie Hall is going to have a free position shot coming up for the Bombers.
It was a beautiful run from Caitlin Russell all the way up to bring it into that fan to get this shot.
Hall in a driving stance on the far side of the 8-meter fan on the first hatch on the far side. Hall in a driving stance. And the referee is waiting for it. Now she'll drive on inside, take a shot. It goes wide. Both teams are waiting for it. Natural able to recover it for the Bombers. Natural working her way far side around behind the net. She'll look for a pass. She goes all the way back up top to a Jerry. 60 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Across to Kellish near side. Kellish working her way in near side, starting to drive in. She'll go behind the net to Natural. Natural working her way behind the net, trying to wrap into the 8-meter fan. She'll ding, dunk, shoot, save there by McMullen. McMullen able to come away with it. There was also a flag raised for a moment, but waved off. And that'll be Lawless. Lawless working her way up past the restraining line into the neutral zone. Lawless all the way bringing it inside to Wong now. Wong back over to Billings. Across to DiLiberto. Now over to Mulcahy. Back to DiLiberto. Cross to Billings, top of the 12, guarded by Lauren Russell. Billings trying to drive inside. Multiple players going the other way. There's going to be a charge called against Billings. Ithaca's going to take over. Now it's over to Hosford. Hosford near side. 9:30 left to go in this third quarter. Hosford streaks through the neutral zone across the restraining line into the offensive zone. Now she'll flip it over to a Jerry. Jerry now pass over to the middle to Scallon. Shot score off of the beautiful feed from Kelly Jerry. Catherine Scallon makes it count and extends the Ithaca lead to 11 now. The scoreboard reads 16-5. 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
And you know, that charge all the way back on the other side, they were really able to march up the field, connect on those passes. They've been doing it a lot inside that fan, able to connect on passes, really great chemistry, keeping those options and adjusting to the Brewers' defense and extending the lead even further to an 11 goal.
And now timeout called by Judy Finnery, wanting to talk things over with her team. Down 11 goals, and it looks like there's going to be a conference between the head coaches and the referees. 8:50 left to go in the third quarter. What do you think that Vassar needs to do in order to try and mount at least a little bit of a comeback here, Mia?
You know, I think that the Brewers, they've been doing great in their passing. I think they slow down around the fan. They're able to connect on those and showing that chemistry. And I think they need to find ways, create options to penetrate that really sturdy Ithaca defense. I think creating those options and be able to shorten this lead.
And now going to the opposite side of the Bombers, everything's been working for them since the first quarter. What do you think they need to do in order to put this one completely out of reach?
You know, I think they've been doing a great job. They really have that fire coming off of their win against Skidmore, and also coming with that fire, as we were talking about earlier, with their loss earlier in the season against Vassar on the road. And they're looking to correct that for themselves, and they're coming up with that fire, and they're keeping it alive. And in these final minutes of the third quarter and going into the fourth, keeping that fire alive and not taking their foot off the gas, I think is crucial for this Bomber team.
And now looking around the conference a little bit, back to the RIT St. Lawrence game that I was talking about a little bit earlier in the broadcast. They are finally out of their lightning delay, so they have been back to play, and this one is a thriller in Rochester. Currently tied 12-12 between the Tigers and the Saints. 6:38 left to go in the fourth quarter. We'll keep you updated on the score of that game, as the winner of this game, which it's looking to be Ithaca, would then play the winner of Rochester and RIT, and St. Lawrence. So, still waiting to see who the Bombers could possibly be playing on Friday. Back to the draw circle now. Esposito against Peacock. Referee placing the ball in between the sticks. Ball's up in the air. And now it's DiLiberto able to pick up the win for Vassar. And she'll bring it right into the offensive zone for the Brewers, as it'll be Billings now across to Burgess. Down low to Poirier. Now back up top to Billings. Down low near side Poirier. 8:25 left to go in the third quarter. Across now to Wong near side, working against Lauren Russell. Wong trying to make a move. Gets pushed back. Trying to drive inside the 8-meter fan. Gets pushed back. Now flips it over to Poirier. Poirier at the top of the 8. Trying to work her way in. Gets pushed far side. Now double team quickly. Tries to get it over to Mulcahy, but picked up by Lauren Russell. Russell taking it away for the Bombers. So she will streak across the neutral zone. And we'll pass it back to Maggie Mandel. Mandel able to pick it up, and we'll flip it cross field to a Jerry. Or excuse me, that's Green. Green now moves it all the way into the offensive zone for the Bombers. And go down low to Natural. Across the field to Hall. Hall working near side corner. She loses the ball for a second. Able to save it from going across the end line. And she will try and flip it over to Natural. The ball's still going away for him. Hall able to pick it up. And now it'll be up to Esposito. Top of the 12 Jerry. Across to Green. 43 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Green streaking inside the 8. Flips it over to Kellis. Tries to do another behind the back shot. Saved by McMullen. And able to take over.
And you know, the Brewers have been winning these draw controls. They do lead Ithaca in draws, but the turnovers have been working against them, and so hoping to capitalize on something here.
And so now it'll be DiLiberto bringing it all the way back across the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Less than 7 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Now she'll flip it across to McMullen. Down low into the 8-meter fan to Fredlin, and now tried to get it over to Burgess, but picked up by Maggie Mandel. Another costly passing turnover against the Brewers.
It's definitely not what the Brewers want, as they're looking to shorten this lead ever so slightly to see what they can do against this really strong Bombers team.
And now it'll be up to Caitlin Russell as she'll cross the midfield logo and go towards the restraining line, and she'll bring it into the offensive zone. She gets knocked down. No foul called, but able to pick it back up. Now across to Sydney Smith. Down low behind the net to Natural. Natural working her way across far side. Tried to get it inside to a Jerry. Ball on the ground. A Jerry able to pick it back up. A Jerry feeds towards the middle to get it to Smith. Not able to field that one, but Natural once again able to recover the ground ball for the Bombers. 45 seconds on the shot clock. A Jerry resets things at the top of the 12. Now it's Smith near side. Smith working her way inside the 12, going behind the net, goes across to Natural. Natural looking for a pass. She'll go back up top to Armstrong. Now over to Jerry. Jerry far side. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Starting to drive inside. Pass over to Scallon in the middle. Tries to go to Armstrong right in front of the crease. It gets deflected, and McMullen able to come up with it in her stick. And now pass to one of her defenders in Ringler.
That was a clutch save from McMullen to save that save another goal from that determined Bombers offense.
Now it'll be over to Deltado, who has it cutting through the neutral zone across the midfield logo. Now try to get it over to Burgess, but Lauren Russell intercepts it and able to pick up the ground ball. And now she'll hand it over to her sister, Caitlin Russell, before it goes all the way back to Datillo and now near side to Mandel. Less than 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And now almost a little bit of a scrum for it here between Mulcahy and Mandel. No foul called. And there will be a foul against Mandel, so Vassar will take things over in their offensive zone. So now it'll be, Poirier, who has it in the 12, far side, working her way down. Shot, score! Poirier able to cut the deficit to 10 now for the Brewers. Ithaca still leads 16-6, 4:20 left to go in the third quarter.
That's what the Brewers need to keep this game alive in this third quarter, as Ithaca starts to run away with it, using those fouls and those turnovers that have been used against them earlier in this game and capitalizing on when they have something work in their favor in this moment.
And Vassar just trying to get it to where the running clock does not happen anymore, because eventually, if too long with running clock, it's really going to work against Vassar. Any hope to keep their season alive. Esposito and Peacock back in the draw control circle. Referee still setting things up. Ball's up in the air. Kellish fighting for it. It'll be knocked around. Eventually, Vassar able to come up with it with Peacock, but it gets knocked out of her stick. Hosford fighting for it with her. Hosford able to pick things up. It gets knocked out of bounds off of Hosford, the referees say. And so it'll be Coltsis who has it for the Brewers, bringing it into the offensive zone, guarded by Caitlin Russell, who strips it out of her stick. And now Krellin able to pick it up for the Bombers, as Attila will now feed it back up top to Hosford. Less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Green now has it, streaking across the neutral zone, across the restraining line into the offensive zone. Green working her way down low. Try to get it to Hall. Hall gets knocked to the turf, and there will be a foul called against Vassar. So Hall will get possession, and Ithaca will retain possession in Vassar's defensive end. Hall now will feed it up to Kellish, across all the way up top to Sydney Smith. Smith now working her way in, across the 12-meter fan, takes a shot, score! Sydney Smith able to beat McMullen on the far side and extend the Bomber lead back up to 11. It's 17-6 Bombers, 1:40 left to go in the third quarter.
And once again, that Bombers offense really connecting on those passes. And even though they're not always coming down with the draw controls, with Vassar still leading the Bombers in that category, they're able to force those turnovers from the really strong defense and really capitalize on those moments and not giving up in that determination we saw with Maddie Hall over in the near corner. They're able to connect on those moments and extend that lead even further, not giving up on anything.
And Sydney Smith, her third goal of the season for the sophomore out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. And so now the Ithaca lead back up to 11. And a little bit of an update once again on the RIT St. Lawrence game. Still knotted up at 12 goals apiece. A minute 36 left to go in that one. So that one coming down to the wire. The winner of that will, in all likelihood, play Ithaca with less than 50 seconds left to go in the third quarter and an 11-goal lead. Esposito and Peacock in the circle, as it'll be whistle blown. They will award it to Vassar, as it'll be now Mulcahy bringing it across the restraining line into the offensive zone. Foul called against Ithaca. And Mulcahy will keep possession for the Brewers. 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Pass inside to Burgess, trying to get it across to one of her teammates in Wong. Wong fighting for it with Russell, but Lauren Russell able to come away with it and get it back to Datillo in her crease. 14 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And it looks like Datillo is just going to hold this one out, as she'll pass it over to Mandel. 5 seconds left in the third quarter. Ithaca, no rush at all. They have 11-goal lead. As the horn sounds, the third quarter will end. Ithaca, another very productive third quarter as they extend their lead to 11. 17-6, the current score. We'll be back in a couple minutes for the start of the fourth quarter. You're listening to Ithaca Women's Lacrosse on the Bomber Sports YouTube page. Welcome back to Higgins Stadium. It's just about to be the start of the fourth quarter, but a quick update at the RIT St. Lawrence game. That game has gone to overtime. It is sudden death overtime in the Liberty League playoff. First one to score wins, just like it was in the Liberty League Championship game last year, where Ithaca was able to beat St. Lawrence in overtime. Sydney Phillips getting the game winner. So we'll have to see who comes out of that one. The winner of that game, once again, will in all likelihood play Ithaca here on Friday. So, and that would be in the semifinal of the Liberty League Championship as the fourth quarter is about to start. Currently, Ithaca leads 17-6 over the Vassar Brewers.
And Alex, as we get ready to start this fourth quarter, what do you think the Bombers are looking to do for this last quarter as they prepare, knowing what the score is and how they've been playing?
Well, I think this is a lot of the time for more of the younger players in this lineup to get some experience with some playoff women's lacrosse, because we've already started to see some of the more bench players start to come in. Maddie Hall starting to come in. You know, those players don't necessarily get starts, but they do contribute significant minutes. We've already seen some of them come in. I expect to see more players coming off the bench and starting to, contribute more significant minutes, as this one is in running clock. It's pretty much over at this point. And so I think it'll be really interesting to see what players do get those minutes. And I think it's a really good experience for a very young team with 14 underclassmen on this squad out of 29 players. It'll be really good for some of them to get some playoff experience, even in a game that's pretty much over. So now it'll be Esposito and Peacock back in the circle. Esposito and Peacock still waiting for the referee to set things up. Ball's up in the air. Cody and Billings going for it. It gets knocked around across the restraining line. Still fighting for it. Green able to come away with it. Now flips it up to Kellish on a fast break. Kellish flips it over to Hall, who takes a shot and scores. A beautiful fast break 2-on-1 opportunity converted by the Bombers to start the fourth quarter. It's now 18-6 Ithaca. They are rolling with 14:35 left to go.
And once again, the Bombers have just been able to really capitalize on those draws as they get them. The Brewers are still leading in the draw controls, but every time that the Bombers have been able to get the draws, they've been really great on capitalizing on those fast breaks and not letting their foot off the gas one bit, even in this fourth quarter with a lead of 12.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting to see how Ithaca has really taken advantage, as you said, Mia, of whenever they do get the drop, because, as you said, they're down in that category, but yet they make the most of it. And it's been Vassar's turnovers, especially in the neutral zone, that have cost them those draw controls that really haven't resulted in anything. Back in the circle goes Peacock and Esposito. Ball's up in the air. Cody picks it up for Ithaca, and they'll go right back on offense. Cody streaking into the new offensive zone, goes all the way into the 8-meter fan before she gets pushed back. Cody flips it back over to Esposito. Back across now to Natural. Down low to Green. Now across to Hall. Back up top of Jerry. And Jerry now goes back down low to Hall. Ball goes back across to Natural. Natural still has it. Far corner. 50 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Ithaca taking all the time that they can. And Jerry now working near side. Goes back behind the net, Natural. 35 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Hall has it. Will feed up top Esposito. Now across to Green. Less than 30 seconds left to go here in the shot clock for Ithaca. And Jerry down low to Natural. Natural looking to make a move. She'll try and cut inside. Gets pushed back. And now it'll be over to Green. Across Esposito. Esposito loses the ball for a second. Going for it is DiLiberto and Cody still fighting for it. Cody able to pick it back up. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Cody driving to drive inside. 5 seconds. There's going to be a whistle blown and a foul called against Vassar. So Ithaca, with 2 seconds left on their shot clock, Lily Cody's going to have a free position opportunity here. Cody will be set up on the far side of the 8-meter fan. On the first hash on the far side in a driving stance. Cody shoots and scores. Lily Cody pulls up, shoots, and makes it count, extends the Bomber lead to 13, 19-6 now, 11:48 and counting on the game clock.
And with that shot clock was winding down, and it's easy to get distracted by that and start to make some mistakes that you don't want to make. But the Bombers did not let that up. They did not let that distract them. Cody came in with fire, getting that ball when they looked like they were going to lose it for a second, and they picked it back up, got that foul, got that free position shot, and only extended that lead.
And that was the thing that Cody recognized, that she had 2 seconds. So she knew she couldn't drive all the way in and take her time because she had to hurry. So she drove in halfway, stopped, pulled up, shot top shelf, able to beat McMullen. And another great goal. That's 5 goals for Lily Cody on the day. Yes, 5 goals. And she is coming off of a day where she had 6 goals and an assist on Saturday against Skidmore. So another very impressive day for Lily Cody as she gets another draw control for the Bombers. Now across to Mandel in the defensive zone. Back to Russell. Back up top to Hosford. Hosford now streaking across the restraining line into the offensive zone. We'll flip it over to Green. Green now down low to Natural, behind the net to Hall. Hall now will go back to Natural. Go back up top to Green. Flip it over to a Jerry. 50 seconds on the shot clock. Ithaca intends to wind the clock as much as possible. Now it'll be back over to Green, far side. Green pass over to middle, Esposito. There's going to be a free position shot coming up for Juliana Esposito. And it's going to be in a pretty good spot on the far side of the 8-meter fan. And another free position opportunity for the Bombers that they can look to take advantage of. Esposito in a driving stance. She'll drive in, take a shot, saved there by McMullen off of the hilt of her stick. And is able to be picked up by Ringler for the Brewers. And an errant pass already intercepted by a Jerry. A Jerry now working her way down low behind the net over to Natural. Natural in the near side corner. Now flips it over to Cody. Cody back to Natural. Back up top to a Jerry. Cross to Green. Back down low to Hall. Cross near side Natural. 60 seconds on the shot clock. Natural back up top to a Jerry, across to Kellish. Kellish back to a Jerry, 45 seconds on the shot clock. Behind the net to Hall. Back up top, Esposito. Ithaca taking their time, draining the clock, 30 seconds on the shot clock. And Jerry trying to make a move, cutting inside. Ball gets knocked out of her stick, stripped away by Ringler. Ringler for the Brewers, passing it up to Burgess. Tried to at least, as it's Katrina Clark who came in and deflected that pass, and it will go Clark's way, so the Bombers will take back over. Mandel now has it for the Bombers in their own defensive end, as it'll now be over to Clark. Clark will pass it up top to Sydney Smith. Smith working her way across the restraining line into the offensive zone for Ithaca. Back up top to Green, across to Kellish. And Jerry down low Natural. Cross to Hall. Hall going for a crease roll, now backs out of it in the 8-meter fan. We'll flip it back over to Natural. Back to Hall. Across to Scallon. Scallon driving far side. Will now make a move, cut around. Ball on the ground as it got knocked out by Lawless. And the Bombers, a foul called against them, so it will go Vassar's way. And so now it'll be going towards the Brewers as they'll bring it into the offensive zone with DiLiberto. Pass inside to, that's Coltsis, who takes a shot and scores. And that will decrease the margin of the Bombers. 19-7 now on the scoreboard reads. 6:50 left to go in the fourth quarter.
You know, the Bombers were really taking their time in that, and then with that foul and with the turnover for the Brewers, they were able to capitalize on that, which is something that, you know, they really need to do to see if they can close this gap anymore.
And an update on the RIT St. Lawrence game. It went to overtime. RIT got a free position shot, and they made it count. Zoe Heffernan able to get the winning goal for RIT on that free position shot. RIT claims the victory 13-12, the final in that one. So as long as the 12-goal lead for Ithaca holds in the last 6 minutes, Ithaca will host RIT in the semifinal on Friday in the Liberty League tournament. Back to Esposito and Peacock in the draw circle. Ball's up in the air. And it'll be DiLiberto going for it for the Brewers, as she'll cut inside, take a shot and score. Back-to-back goals for the Vassar Brewers in quick succession. Brings it back down to a 10-goal game. Ithaca still leads 19-9. 5:36 left to go in this fourth quarter.
You know, it looks like the Brewers have a last-minute stretch of determination, putting their foot on the gas, trying to get rid of this running clock and give themselves a little bit more time. That quick succession, capitalizing on those draw controls, that they're still leading Ithaca in the draw controls, really able to capitalize on that. Very important to see if they can stop this running clock and get themselves back in.
Well, actually, correction, I was 1 goal ahead. It's still only 19-8, so an 11-goal lead for the Bombers. So Vassar would still need to get 2 more goals in order to break the running clock. It's now under 5 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter. Esposito and Poirier in the draw control circle. Poirier, the new draw control taker for Brewers. Ball's up in the air. Going for it is DiLiberto, and she will come away with it for another Vassar draw control win. Now quickly down low to Skiro. Skiro passing it over to it's Kultsis, who takes a shot and scores against Datillo. And 3 straight goals from the Brewers now makes it 19-9, a 10-goal game, 4:25 left to go in the fourth quarter for real this time.
Wow. The Brewers are really coming in with a fire as this fourth quarter winds down. Just a little bit more than 4 minutes left to go in this quarter. And they're really turning up the heat in this moment.
And so now there's going to be a timeout taken. And so Vassar will call a timeout with 4:19 left to go. Still a 10-goal game. Obviously a little bit out of reach with only 4 minutes left to get rid of a 10-goal deficit. But Vassar, what do you think they can do, man, to kind of hold their heads high a little bit towards the end of this one?
I mean, this fire that they've been bringing in these last couple of minutes is definitely something to be proud of. They're not letting the scoreboard dictate how they're playing on the field, and they're still connecting on those passes, and they're starting to capitalize on those draw controls, which is something that you hope to see throughout the game, but they're turning it up in these last couple of minutes, and that is definitely something to hold your head high on. Even if the game itself might start to be out of reach with only 4 minutes left, they're creating good passes, good plays, and still capitalizing on goals and making the lead ever so smaller.
Ithaca looking to close out the last 4:19. Only about 3 full possessions left in this game. Ithaca just looking to close this one out and move on to the semi-final and continue their road in search of back-to-back Liberty League titles. Obviously, the Bombers captured their first Liberty League title back in 2024 last year, winning 11-10 in the Liberty League Championship in overtime on this field here at Higgins Stadium. Ithaca slated right now to host RIT on Friday, as long as they can close it out in the last 4:19 of this one. Union and RPI, the last quarterfinal game, gets started at 7 o'clock, so just in about 45 minutes from now. The winner of that will go on to play William Smith in Geneva on Friday. Draw control up in the air. Cody going for it. It bounces off a couple players, and they will award it to Ithaca. Will Cody able to pick it back up? Cody now slowing things down. Bombers can look to take another minute or so off the clock here and wind this one down. Across to Sydney Smith, Vassar's defense playing full aggression, coming out beyond the 12-meter fan, trying to get a cause turnover. Natural is going to hold it and play catch with Caitlin Eclay. Eclay and Natural go back and forth. Now down low to Sydney Smith. Back across to Natural. 3:30 left to go in this fourth quarter. Back across to Natural, holding towards the restraining line. Vassar's defense all the way out. Now Natural goes down low to Smith. Sydney Smith working her way down low. Across behind the net. All the way now near side Esposito. 25 seconds on the shot clock for Ithaca. Back across to Hall behind the net. Now Sydney Smith. Up top, Caitlin Eclay. Eclay across to Natural. Natural trying to drive inside. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Now 5. Natural pass inside to Jerry. Jerry takes a shot save there by McMullen. And so now it'll be flipped back over to Deltato. Deltato for the Brewers bringing it up. 2:30 left to go in this game. Now all the way up to Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal bringing it across the restraining line into the offensive zone. Gyllenhaal driving into the 12-meter fan. Pass over to, that was Mulcahy. But there was a foul called against Ithaca before. So it looks like Gyllenhaal will have an indirect here on the 12-meter fan. She'll take it and she'll pass it quickly inside to Billings. Takes a shot. It goes wide. And Vassar able to retain possession. They were the first one to it. Less than 2 minutes left to go in this game. 60 seconds on the shot clock for Vassar. Now it's Mulcahy working inside. Trying work it inside. Now over to, DiLiberto, who shoots and scores down low. Makes it now a 19-10 ball game. 1:47 left to go. Back to a 9-goal lead. So now the clock will stop. It will no longer be running clock. And the clock will only run now once play has been restarted off the draw control.
And that save from McMullen, the beautiful save, and able to really capitalize on such a great play from the defense, capitalizing all the way down to the offense, and able to score and get rid of that running clock and give themselves just a little bit more time on the field.
And now it'll be back to the draw control circle. Minute 47 left, 90 seconds on the shot clock. So if Ithaca were to win this draw control and take a full 90 seconds off, there would be 17 seconds left in the game. Ball is up in the air. Cody going for it, and she will come away with it for Ithaca. Cody now flips it near side to Kellish. Ithaca looking to drain the clock. Kellish just holding things and slowing things down. Now Esposito across to Natural. Natural still has it far side. Now across to Smith. 1:20 left to go in the game. 65 seconds on the shot clock. And Jerry now has it. Will be on the 12. Now she's starting to work her way towards it on the far side. She'll go back up top to Esposito. Now near side, top of the 12, Sydney Smith. A minute left to go in this one. Smith near side Kellish. And Kellish can hold things for another 40 seconds. Kellish working her way near side, closely guarded by Billings. Kellish now cuts inside. Will pass it down low towards Caitlin Eclay, who collides with Deltato. And there's going to be a charge against Eclay, big collision. And now a pass from McMullen gets knocked around, still fighting for the ground ball, picked up by Mulcahy. And now 20 seconds left on the game. Vassar trying to get one last opportunity. Is DiLiberto driving inside, now over to Poirier. Across to Mulcahy, takes a shot, saved there by Datillo. And she can hold this one out. 10 seconds left to go. 5 seconds left. She'll pass it over to Phoebe Hosford. 3, 2, 1. And as the horn sounds, Ithaca continues their search for their second straight Liberty League title as they advance to the semifinals of the Liberty League tournament, defeating the Vassar College Brewers. The final score, 19-10 in this one. Mia, your final thoughts?
I mean, beautiful play all throughout all 4 quarters from the Bombers, capitalizing on every little moment and causing those turnovers, capitalizing even though they didn't lead in draw controls, but they still capitalized on everything that they did get, and they didn't take their foot off the gas for a single second. And the Brewers, they put up that fight right at the end with a whole lot of fire, and that is something to be proud of as they step off this field. So
that'll do it for us up here in the Higgins Stadium press box. For Mia Valencia, I'm Alex Schubert saying so long. Ithaca hosts RIT in the semifinal on Friday.